Hey folks, Bridges here. Quick video today that highlights how to do some extra views on your technical drawings that we've been making. So far we've been modeling parts and creating drawings based on those models. And we're going to do the same thing today, but we're going to add some different views. So what we see here is the miniature train wheel. I've got it colored to some gold, bronze-ish color. You probably know how to do this already, but if we right click on the most top level, this is a part, so you can see that it's a cube there. If we right click on that, we can change its physical material. I think by default it comes in as some type of steel. It's taking a minute to load that menu up for me, so my computer was taking a little longer than usual, but it finally came up with this, the physical material menu. And you can see that there's different categories: ceramics and electronics, fabric, flooring. But since we're going to be doing 3D printing for this model, I'm going to choose plastic, and I'm going to choose the nearest thing to what we're going to 3D print with is going to be ABS plastic. So I can just drag that over. What that does is it changes some of the properties of the material, the density and the mass and things like that. We'll look at that in another video. But what we were doing today was just changing the way that it looks. And that did change the way that it looks, but you can further customize by going into the appearance, right-clicking and going into appearance, and we'll choose an appearance here. Now, once again, we've got different categories, and paint is always a good one to choose. Paint, inside paint, you've got glossy, metal flake, metallic. Glossy always looks nice. So you could choose whatever color that you want. We'll go with a green in this case. Drop it on there. And you can do some customization as well. But we're going to leave it like this for now. But the point of the video is to show you how to make some different, maybe not so usual views of this in your drawing. So as usual, we will go to File, New Drawing from Design. And we're going to be using a custom title block template. Perhaps you've got one saved, maybe not. You might be going from scratch. Doesn't really matter. We're going to use the A size custom title block that we're using in my IED class, Introduction to Engineering Design. So it did take a minute or two, actually probably more like 30 seconds to load this paper up, A-size paper with the custom title block. And now it's wanting me to place my model in here. Now I can always change the orientation of the model. If I had modeled it from a different view, perhaps I would want to change that orientation from front to top or side. But in this case, the front is the way that it was designed to show the most detailed profile. What I don't like is it's pretty small on my paper right now. So I will increase this scale from 1 to 2, which is a half size scale. I'm going to just bump that up to 1 to 1, which is a full scale drawing, which means the size of it on the printed paper is going to be the size of it in real life. And I'll place that base view maybe right here. And when I say OK, now it's missing some details there that I wanted. So I'm going to double click on that, open it back up, and I'm going to change it's the tangent edges. We've got all these fillets and things going on the front, and it wasn't showing those to us. If we choose the full length tangent edges, it'll give us more. I also like the fact that they give us an option for center marks, for holes, and things like that. But weirdly, I don't think that really it's not really working yet. So might have to play around with that a bit. So anyway. At this point, you can start adding dimensions as usual. If you wanted to, you could add the diameter here, and basically whatever is on your sheet, the critical dimensions. But instead of spending time doing that right now, I wanted to show some of the details that you can see by cutting away half of this. So we're going to do a section view. And to do a section view, we're going to come up here. We're not going to project this time. We're going to do a section view, which means cut half of it off and look at the inside. So we'll choose the section view, and if we hover, it says select the parent view. and we're going to choose this as the parent view. That's the only view that we have. Now it gives me this little A and an arrow. So that's the beginning of my cutting plane line. And I want it to cut directly down the center here. So I'm going to hover. I'm going to zoom in and hover on this center point. I'm not going to click it, but I'm going to hover there to lock it in, sort of. And then once I hover there, it'll let me trace it up. It realizes that there's some importance to that center point. So now I can click once straight above it. I'm going to move my mouse down and click another time straight below it. So we've got this vertical cutting plane line. And now it wants me to do a third one, but I don't want that. I just want one cut, so I'll now click the check mark. And that makes one cut, and I'm going to place this out to the right. I could place it out to the left, and the arrows would swap sides, but I left room on the right, so I could look at it from the right side. And essentially all that's doing is it's just removing that right half. So I cut it in half, and then I took away the right side, and I'm looking at the left side. And I clicked once to place that view. I'm going to leave these options as they are, and there it goes. It does give me a caption here, and it says this is section AA, which means we're looking at this section here where the arrows are pointing. We're looking at it that way from the right. And you can see the hash marks. Those mean that that's a solid in there. Where there are no hashes, that's an empty space. And now I think we're going to be better suited to put things like the radius of the fillets and so on and so forth with our dimensioning. Now, we have talked about this before. You can specify. So we made this radius a bit more specific than 0.06. If you remember, it was 0.0625. So at this point, if it were just one dimension, we could double click on it, and we could change the I guess the precision in here, the linear precision from 2 decimal places up to 4. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. I guess I didn't cancel it. That was just this one dimension that we changed. If you have multiple dimensions that are more specific than 2 decimals, you can go up here to Sheet Settings. And you can right-click on Sheet Settings. That's not doing it. How about Document Settings? There we go. And we'll click the little Edit pencil to the right. Now, if we open the Units, if we expand the Units section here, now it will let us change this the linear precision from 2 decimal places up to 4. It will not make them 4. If you have a 0.5, for example, it will leave that as 0.5. It will not put trailing zeros on there unless you want it to. So now we've got our base view, we've got our section view. I'm going to move down my caption just a bit, and I'm going to do one more. I'm going to zoom in on the little stubby connector, which the linkage will connect to, and I'm going to do a special view for that. And to do that special view, we're going to choose right up here next to the section view, the detail view. So I'll click that once. Once again, it asks for select the parent view, which we're going to base our details off of the main view here. So I click the main view, and now it says specify center point of detail boundary. And the center of my detail is going to be right here. Now, as I move my mouse out from the center, it increases that detail section, and I think that's good right there. I don't like having the B on my item, so I'll move that eventually. But for now, this is about how big I want the detail to be. So something like that, and you can see it zooms into that, and it creates a 2:1 scale detail view. And I can place that out here to the right or wherever there's room on my paper. And I'm actually going to increase that. I'm going to make it zoomed in a little bit more. I might make it 4:1 or something like that. Yeah, that fits nicely. And I'll say OK. Now what that does is that gives me, I'll move the caption again to fit. It gives me the option to put some of these finer details like the whole notes. By the way, whole notes are under text, and it's a whole and thread note, either one. And we know that this is a whole here, so I'll click on that, and I'll come out, and I'll place that whole note right there, and it tells me the diameter to 4 decimal places because I changed the document settings, and the depth. to 2 decimal places because we don't need trailing zeros. Now I still want to put the center mark on there, and I might make that center mark a little bit bigger. Put a center line in here, in the hole, and I'll extend that out as well so that actually looks like a center line. There's probably a better way to expand this center mark, but I don't know what it is, so we're going to leave it like that for now. And just to finish it off, I'm going to move my B outside my part so you can see that it's just we don't like having those letters on top of the part. So there we go. Hopefully that's helpful. You can finish this off by adding whatever dimensions you deem as critical. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Thanks for watching.